to the revenue side, and then tools to help you identify how to spend the money when the time comes. And some of the issues y'all have talked about this morning are very important to this. You have to make decisions about whether or not to widen the road, whether or not to move the fences and drainage, things like that. You've got to decide whether you want to put back the pavement like it was. Y'all have already had discussion about that this morning. If you put the pavement back the way it is, you're going to be hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. It's never going to end. So at some point you got to call uncle and you got to say, maybe we should build something stronger than what was there and give ourselves a chance. And the point of the impact study is real simple. If you want to do that, that's one way. But what it does is it allows you to identify over the long haul, not the short term, the long haul, what it is that it's going to take to get a road that will last through the oil field impact. And the truth of this is, the Eagleford is the first one. There's another one underneath that, and another one underneath that. It's going to be here for a long time. Pearsall's found 30 years ago. They're going there next. So when they've done this one 15 years or so, they're going to go deeper. It's another 3,000 or 4,000 feet down to Pearsall. They've already been there, and they've gotten out what they could. But they've got better technology today, and the fracking process is better, and they're going to keep going. Why would they stop? Anyway, so the impact study looks at a 20-year period and says, if the traffic's really going to be here, whether it's 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, well, how do you approach it? How do you go about deciding what to do? And I think that the real answer is you're going to want to rebuild something that lasts. You may want it wider, you may not, because it involves, what do you do with drainage? What do you do with fences? You've got to make decisions like that for this county. So if you want a tool that you can put in front of the oil companies and say, this is the impact that the oil field's going to have on our county, then that's what you do, is you take that document and you put it in front of them and say, I need some money, I need some help. If there's one oil company on one road, kind of like the Talisman deal this morning, it's real easy to get them to pay for that road. They're the only ones there. But when you have three, nobody wants to do anything. It's like, you can't prove that I'm the one that was there. And I know you're dealing with it because it's working that way all over. And so really what you need to do is decide if you want to be like B County and just pass a resolution, $9,500 per well. You could do that. It's probably a low number, but you could use that as a starting point for your negotiations. Don't pay for a study, because the study is really the impact of 20 years per well, if you want to do it that way. But you can do the study. DeWitt's done that. LaSalle's done that. Dimmitt's done that. There's several that have done it. They've hired people to go out and look at that. So you have choices as far as the revenue side is concerned about what you want to do to try and get your revenue up. You only have two choices. It's either coming from the oil companies or it's coming from the taxpayers. And the taxpayers, they're always interested in the tax break, so am I. I'd like my taxes to be lower too, and I don't live here. But I still want my taxes lowered. But you've got to keep enough money coming in from a change in ad valorem taxes so that you're not going back to the effective rate. You need to keep your tax rate up. You need to use that for roads, because the appraised value, the increase in land value, hopefully is coming from the industry that's invaded this area. It's a good thing, but it creates problems. So you just need to be able to have that money in the coffers when you need to spend it. Now, if you want to look at the expense side, perhaps you need a list of roads that need to be repaired. Well, there's 50 of them in this list today. And like Jeff said, it's a start. By the time they get there, the road's gone within 3 months sometimes. And if you don't build back something better, you're not going to be able to keep up. And they're going to run themselves ragged trying to blade roads over and over. I don't know how, if they did one road a day, 50 days, 50 working days is 2.5 months before they get to the end of the list. If they could do it in one day, and I don't think they can. So they're always, you're never going to catch up. That's the point. And so if you want to approach this in a methodical way and look at what the cost is that the oil field puts on here, you can do a traffic impact study. If you just wanted to be like B County and just pick a number, that's essentially what DeWitt did. The county judge over there said, I'll take 8,000. They said, sure. There's a reason they said sure. It's because they know it's not enough. And it isn't enough. Anyway, so we'd be glad to help you with a traffic impact study. The way you go about it is you apply the traffic to a road. The condition of the road is somewhat important, but in the long haul, it's probably not important what the condition is, because as soon as they hit it, it's gone. So I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time looking at that. What we need to look at is whether or not we're widening or not, whether or not we're deepening or not, what kind of surface we're thinking about putting back, something that the oil field traffic can use. You know, that they can't go up and make a right-hand turn on the dime. They're taking out fence corner posts and things like that. So you need to look at what you're going to do for wider turns. I mean, those are all things that need to go into the cost estimates to get prepared, so you know what the impact really is. And I know we can do that for you because I know what goes into it, but the point is there's got to be some dialogue about what the county wants to see for these roads as they get rebuilt. And the road and bridge people can do what they can, but you may have to hire outside contractors to get it done, to help you along. If you took 47 roads times 2 miles each, you're almost 100 miles worth of road. And if you just hired it all out, decided today, let's go hire it all out, that's probably $100 million worth of work. And it's going to take you a year just to get to the point where you can hire a contractor to do one of those. You've got to go out there and develop plans and figure on moving fences perhaps, and moving drainage and rebuilding bridges. I mean, you can spend a lot of money real fast, but it's going to take time. And they want to use the roads during that year. So it's an impossible problem. But the tools that you can use to get there, unless you just want to adopt a resolution in the future that says 10,000, 15,000, whatever number you want. It's just a negotiation point anyway. Or if you want to look at a list of projects, these 47 roads, we could put prices to them, and you could identify exactly which ones of those you want to do first. And the next time you do budget, you can identify what needs to be done with your money. You can do that too. And that's a very transparent way of showing the public what it is you need to do. So I guess what I need to do is stop and not bore you with all the details, but I'll be glad to answer some questions if you have some.
Well, we've been talking about trying to implement a plan ever since I've been around, and I think this would be a great way to get a basis to start this long-range plan, much less our emergency situations we've got now.
You're right. I think that either one of these groups would sure help Jeff out and give him an enlightenment of what kind of plans we need to look at for the future.
How many engineering groups are here today? Just the two? That gentleman back there is not an engineer?
This is not, he's up, he's on the road, he's on the list.
I'm sorry. I was gonna have him fix a road on. So anyway, if you go through the two-step process thing, if you have these people, do we not have to advertise for these?
Not for professional
If you're
services.
expecting something under $50,000, you don't have to.
Because it's a request for proposal to start with.
So now let me ask you this, if there's a, if this is being done, so this is, would we have to put something back on the agenda for a committee to pick one of these guys or somebody to help us? Or is that something that y'all, it seems since you're meeting with Jeff and Tracy and Priscilla tomorrow, could y'all not talk about what went on here today and make a recommendation based upon that? Could you not help us? How would that have to work?
We could
Luana,
do
you see
that.
what I'm saying, where I'm going with that?
Yeah, we could do that.
And because it's professional services, it's just like our independent auditors, et cetera, you are not required to go out.
Okay. And so then while they're figuring out everything else tomorrow, they can review these these files.
Should've given us a lot of work for tomorrow morning.
I know. And anyway,
It does.
you can review these files. Well, I mean, if we don't move on this stuff, it never gets done.
That's right.
Right.
And I mean, that's just like the jail and the contractors. I mean, we moved and we moved rapidly, but you're either gonna move rapidly or you're gonna stop because something else will happen tomorrow. Something else will fall apart, I promise. And so we need to, is there a way, I guess what I'm asking you, for you guys to go over these two groups of engineering's information tomorrow while you're making your plan or you're figuring stuff out, and for you guys to recommend one to Commissioner's Court?
Well, but this is not, they brought this in here only as information, it's not under request for proposal.
My understanding of the law is, I'm not speaking for these guys, but I hope I am, getting close anyway. The law is that if you expect it to be more than $50,000, you're required to ask for proposals. If you think it's going to be less than that, and they've indicated they could probably stay there, and I probably can too, but the point of it would be that if you can stay under, you can just select, but it has to be qualifications-based selection. It
Would
can't
you come out of
involve
this
price.
book?
It can't involve price. You can base it on however you want to. If you ask for proposals, then you need to style what it is you want to see back from an engineering firm. And you're going to get more than just 2 responses probably if you do that, because that's a public bid.
Sure.
And that's,
We're looking at probably 10 or 12 or more.
I'd ask the same question I asked them, what counties have you worked for?
well, we work for a lot of counties. I've been hired by DeWitt to do their traffic impact study because that's what the judge wanted to do.
You're currently working for
Yes.
DeWitt?
Yeah. A lot of counties are talking about it. I know that Dimmitt and LaSalle hired the same fella for theirs. He's, I'm not sure if he's an engineer. I think he's more of an economist type, but still came up with some of the same methodology for working the cost per well on this study. I know there's a lot of folks thinking about it, and obviously like you guys trying to figure out what's best to do. But there's several approaches. I mean, I'm not sure that just a traffic study is the thing to do. You might want to look at a capital improvement plan and start to identify costs, like I said, with those 47 county roads. Let's put costs to them. Let's sort them in order. And let's at least talk about it during the budget time. You need to do things like that too.
But that's never been done here.
But like Luana was saying, this would be almost our last piece of the puzzle to actually get something in writing for a plan for Karnes County. We have a large majority that we know where we're going with, and the other part will clueless.
Well, if we know how much it's gonna cost to fix these roads, and we know the number of wells that are gonna be drilled by these companies, and so the total number of wells drilled in this county every year, we gotta come up with this much money by.
Well, I mean, I'm not a fan of debt, but you can also go into debt and look at your annual payments and match that up to your income as well. I mean, that's a choice. If you choose to go into debt, you can do it that way. If you just want to live on what you bring in otherwise and not go into debt, you can do it that way. You just can't get as much done.
Well, the current budget, the way it is, I don't see us really fixing this. It's not the current road and bridge budget that we have, and/or the additional $3 million.
But you're already in March, and in 3 months, we start budget hearings. And so if everybody starts planning for their stuff right now,
So we need-
we're getting close.
We know
It's
what
almost
we're
that
gonna
time. So,
That's right.
In your assessment, do you go to the oil companies and see how many wells are projected to be drilled in what time, or what do you determine?
Well, that's always, a study is a prediction. It's not exact because you're looking into the future. And it'd be a whole lot easier to tell you the impact if I could wait 20 years to do it.
I'm just asking, do you go on and project the wells?
We do project the wells, yes, but the problem is you may guess wrong.
It may not happen.
Right, it may not happen, and it may come in stronger than we're thinking. So you pick something and use it for a planning tool. And it may be that 5 years down the road, you realize, it was not an accurate guess, and it could have been a better guess, and you can either choose to do something about it or just keep on going. So it's inexact, and I'll admit that it is, but it gives you a place to start the negotiation with the oil companies, because That's the purpose of doing that. If you're not willing to take that document and go put it in front of the oil companies and use it for that purpose of them contributing something to the maintenance of the roads, you might as well not do the study. And I'd love to have it work, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to tell you not to. But if you're not gonna use it as a tool, don't pursue it. Save the money for something else.
Anybody have any more questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Judge, Ms. Sparks asked if you could be number 9.
Yes, we can. Ms. Sparks, number 9, request update, discuss possible solutions for litter control in Karnes County, and the author is Mrs. Sparks.
You talked about hiring a truck and a driver to pick up trash, but I really don't think that that's gonna cut it. What would be the feasibility of having the county dump open 2 times a month, like on a Saturday all day, free of charge? Because since I came to Commissioner's Court in February, there's been sofas, love seats, mattresses, box springs, you name it. Big 39-gallon trash bags along the highway, burn barrels. Just, it's got worse, and I've been told on the county roads where there's a creek bed, it's just a big old dumping ground.
There's a few of them.
Yes, quite a few. So where do we stand on that?
What's gonna make them haul it over to the dump, throw it in there? If they're so lazy that don't do it, they're gonna throw it out on the road anyway.
That's right.
Well, maybe it would catch some of it.
It's a gallon of gas.
And you're right, they are lazy. And it, I'm sorry, but it is not 100% oil field, because all of that stuff that I mentioned is Karnes County residents.
I've got a swimming pool in my ditch,
Mm-hmm,
a big one,
yep.
and a sofa, a love seat, a TV, several cars, got all that stuff.
Called a patio.
But I know what you're talking about.
Well, and I'm not sure even if it was offered free that people would drive over a
That's what I'm saying.
$3.69
You know,
gallon
they're
gas.
sorry not to
Right.
throw it in a ditch to begin with, you know. they're not
Or
gonna-
what about having a twice a month of community cleanup, where somebody came to the towns and picked up the trash?
We tried that, and we talked about doing a resolution, what was it, for cleanups or whatever? And we tried to get some, I guess inmates or whatever to assist doing that and whatever, and doing the resolutions, and I was just told that that's just impossible right now.
Yeah.
They don't have the people to be out to help us, so that resolution did not come to pass.
Well, I know that, I mean, you name it, they're short of help.
And any of our municipalities could declare a cleanup day, and do anything that they wanted to cover, anything they wanted, or doing it, or just voluntarily doing it. The only thing that ever comes back when we say let's do it as a county is, well, if somebody gets ran over, or if somebody, the liability. And that is always that comes back to us with a concern. I think one thing that, I guess one of the ideas that Pete had come up with, as we had talked about, it was probably not going to do a large impact, but we have to start somewhere. Somewhere we have to start picking up this trash, or it's just gonna become more and more and more and more and more, and we'll still be talking about it. Pete had said something about, at one time, maybe employing somebody to have a flatbed to work in each precinct 1 week a month, picking stuff up, or, it was, or a couple of people, and then hauling that stuff to the dump. Because, and having you guys maybe, he suggested the idea of, what about like each commissioner telling the person like where their worst area is, or to be able to help them or something. And it was an idea he was wanting to bring to court, or had ran past me, and I was like, I think anything is better than nothing. And right now we're doing nothing because we don't know what to do.
There's always been a fine line between, charging X amount of dollars for tires or whatever it is versus doing it for free, because we talked about this before. If we do it for free, then people from other counties or whatever, you know, they'll bring their stuff here, you know, obviously maybe they can show a driver's license, but if they just stop and get a resident and say, oh, here's his driver's license. I've run into that at these cleanups before that I've had. They'll have somebody with them that's from the county, and that person shows me the driver's license, but I know the driver wasn't. But anyway,
No matter what we do, it's gonna be pitfalls.
that's right,
in
it's,
it.
it's not a real easy task, but we need to start somewhere. I know in the past, we told that, you know, each precinct had a roll-off there, a 30 or 40-yard roll-off. That didn't work real well, but we need to start somewhere. We need to encourage these people to put it in these containers.
Well,
And it-
Pete, I might have explained your idea wrong. You might want to explain it better about the trash pickup or large item pickup of,
Well, my idea was, I hope to talk to James about it, hire someone more regular with the dump, and have a county pickup and trailer available, and hire a part-time employee, or maybe they may both be part-time employees, as Jesse is now, but to go out one day a week or 2 days a week and pick up trash on the road, to have different communities. The communities will help pick it up. You know, they weren't picked up, have people to volunteer to help say where they need it picked up, and to go to each place once a month and pick it up and get it off the road.
Like, you know, these oil companies have these 16 or 20-foot trash trailers that are pretty tall. If we had something like that and the community gets together, if we're there on that day with our trailer, that they could put it in and we'll haul it to the dump, you know, kind of help them out like that.
Right.
But like, you know, Commissioner Schindel talking about, you know, like a creek on a bridge, people throw stuff in that hole. Well, if we go dig it out of there and we haul it off without putting up a camera to see who's actually doing it, you're just encouraging them because they know when they throw it in there, you're gonna come haul it out. But I think the county really needs to buy some of these infrared game cameras and put them and see who's throwing it in that hole. Go clean it up. I don't have a problem cleaning it up
Right.
at one time.
But you're right.
I don't wanna keep going back. I wanna prosecute this person and make an example out of them. And once you prosecute somebody really good, they're probably gonna tell their friends, hey, don't be throwing anything on the side of the road or in that hole or what have you.
But you gotta watch out for the expense of trying to catch them too.
Well, these game cameras only cost, you know,
$100.
$100, you know, and it's well worth it.
Well, the idea as far as the county having a vehicle and trailer and a person, that's a good idea. But one person ain't gonna be able to load a couch onto a trailer to haul it to the dump.
But they
So,
have to have help.
You know, these communities, if they get together and they let us know on a certain day, and we'll be there with maybe one or two guys in a truck and a trailer. Because the biggest problem that they face, if you have 10 or 12 trash bags, what are you gonna do with them? You gotta haul them in, but if we come out there and we help you and we put them in our trailer and we haul them back to our dump for you, then that's kinda encouraging you and helping you and kinda working towards a solution.
And I don't know if my part of the highway is controlled by the Goliad Highway Department, and I don't know if he would be willing to pick up everybody's trash that picks it up, but he certainly is really nice, and I call him, and when they're out in the area, they'll pick up what I picked up, which is a godsend, because I've been hauling it to the dump and paying to get rid of other people's trash.
Right.
But as long as we start somewhere.
Right, we have to do something.
so what do we want to do?
Several years ago, I applied for a grant from the governor's office for equipment in my office, and I did purchase an infrared game camera. And so the problem with that is, it's a good idea. It works well. Problem is, if you don't get it high enough or hidden enough, it disappears. And so,
That's what I was gonna
But they
tell
have
you.
these new ones, Bob, that you can buy something that's something like a cell phone, and it'll upload those pictures continuously.
Oh,
So
does it
even
do?
if, yes, they do. They have them. And if they steal the camera, it's those pictures are still coming to my email account. So even though they stole the camera,
I don't have one like that.
well, I know, but nowadays they got them, and they cost $400 or
it's gonna
$500.
save you more than $100.
But I think he's right, once that you can catch them and you can find them, that's a big plus right there.
And if we get cameras, like I say, these pictures are continuously uploaded. If they go straight to the sheriff's department, to his email account, or what have you, and the camera's missing, well, you see the guy that took it down, because it's taking his picture and uploading it to a server.
But I have a question.
Until they disconnect the battery.
Yeah, but you have to get up in front of it to actually do that.
You can do it
sneak
from behind.
That's a motion camera.
Oh, you have such a criminal mind.
I just work.
Yeah, there's-
But you know, I mean, we see people dumping stuff, and it's just like the sheriff said, we kind of got to take our community back. We could be out there taping them ourselves, like when we're driving down county roads and stuff. Just nobody wants to tell on anybody else. I'm not sure what that fear factor is, but nobody wants to rip out that camera and go, you know.
Well, I caught one throwing it off the bridge of the TV. So I just kindly followed him back to town and I asked him, I said, now, if you don't want to go to jail, you need to go back down there and get that TV. And he went back down there and got the TV. Nothing else was said.
You're a little intimidating though, Tracy, with your size.
I wasn't going to prosecute him or anything unless he wanted me to. You can pick it up, but that's the thing, you don't catch them all.
Right.
You don't.
Yes,
Not
Mr.
easy
Johnson?
to catch 'em.
Barbara sent them to pick up trash.
What did you say about the inmates not being able to do this kind of thing? In Medina County, we've got them picking sweet corn and cucumbers for the food bank and that kind of thing. I mean, why can't they go ahead and clean the roadways here?
I was told it was not the problem so much as the inmates, it was the problem to have the manpower out there to be over the inmates at this point in time.
We have a different level prison here. We got.
And we need more
these guys.
staff.
We don't have enough good trustees like that. Ours are too bad. You gotta have good trustees.
But that's, I'm sorry, I don't, you know, I was heard it was a staffing issue.
I didn't realize that you have a higher level of security
Yes.
person than we have over there.
We have a maximum.
Okay, all right,
And these guys are mean.
okay, we don't want to.
Trust me, you wouldn't want some of them in your garbage.
No.
But,
Well, maybe if they lay it.
now,
What do we need?
what do we need to do, Luana? Could we advertise to hire somebody and then amend?
Well, you would have to amend with your plans before you advertise to hire somebody or equipment.
It's gonna have to be an emergency.
Yeah, and can you say this is an emergency situation to qualify for amendment, or is it just something we consider for the next
At
budget year?
time?
Well, I have a camera, I use my camera. Not mine, it's the county's, but,
Is this something we need to do in the next 3 months when we get ready to go to hearings and start? I mean, we need to increase something out at the dump anyway, but we'll do that when we go to the reports there.
Well, I really don't want to wait 3 months for something to be done. I'd like to see something done soon, because it's just going to keep getting worse and worse.
Well, could we declare it an emergency? Is it unforeseen? Is it something we see
well, it depends on if
unforeseen?
they put enough stuff out on the road, and if it gets to be a road hazard, yeah.
But it's-
It is a road hazard, I don't know.
What Carl said is a good idea. We talked about it the last time when you were here. Everything that we just talked about today is exactly what we commented on the last time. It's, you know, everything's exactly what we did.
Kinda like
The
that.
county can't get it under control by ourselves, but if we have people like you and a little community support, and we can provide some manpower and some machinery to help you, if we all work together, we can get this taken care of. But one entity or one person by themselves is just,
But I want to get beyond the talking stage
Yes,
and get something started.
Because that's exactly what we said the last time. That it has to be a community getting together and everything, but that's what we're saying again. What, 3 months later? I think what we gotta do, in my opinion, is put those cameras up and bust these people. And take a chance of them getting these cameras, you know, we'll get a few of them before they, you know that they're up there and looking around for them.
But since-
yeah, and then you can have W cameras, so they, you know, like you said, I never thought about that, if they come from the back and take the battery out of it.
Oh, you're just accusing me of being a criminal. It's a problem, Carl, you don't think.
No, you got that.
I know,
you
what
got
you-
it
I
there.
think that's what we should do first. Start
They don't
ticketing
have a
these
lot of
people.
range either.
Okay,
From here
so,
to,
But the good ones, like you said, 400 or 500 should be real clear and have some kind of, 100-foot range.
No, that's
They don't have that much at all?
not at night. And of course, your image is gonna be very small, it'll be hard to identify.
I would think people would, when I was working the roads for 8 years, I had more problems during the day than doing stuff at night. Because I seen vehicles taking off back there loaded with stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Because they're too lazy to come out at night.
Right.
They don't care.
But we
Probably
need to
right.
purchase a trash trailer, because if we're gonna do this, we can't just put it on a flatbed because it blows off, because we're picking up trash and all kinds of stuff. So we need a trash
Yeah,
trailer.
but
Let's buy a trash trailer, and then, like, say, in my precinct, I'll be the first Saturday, in precinct number 2, you'll be the second Saturday, or, something like that, and put it on a schedule. And the commissioner or whoever gets with the people in his precinct in different communities, and we'll just rotate from community to community in that,
You know
or
what's gonna,
something.
you know what's gonna happen? And I'm gonna make a long story short. Over here at the end of one of these county roads, Ritterville, County Road Ritterville, they stack up trash there. I've gone up there with my own personal backhoe, picked it up. We've gone up there in the 12 years I've been there. We picked up trash there. Now Jeff went up there the last time and picked up the trash, or his guys and him. But for the 8 to 10 years, something like that, I picked up trash there.
Oh, by the cemetery?
Yeah, I picked up a lot of trash there. You know what all that did? Was encourage people to throw them away. That's all that did.
'Cause they
man. I
got
went
cleaned
over
up.
there and I didn't mind doing it with my personal equipment. I didn't care what, did it work in community service for 8 or 9 years, whatever. But all they did was go back to the same place. We're gonna spin our wheels. I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna hire someone, we're gonna hire a person. I know it's a good idea and everything. That's great. I wish it would work and the people would be, everybody was respectful in the county, but they're not. They're gonna say, oh shoot, man, we got something. They're picking it up anyways. Again, these dumb, they're gonna pick it up again. They're gonna pick it up again. We need to bust these people. Bottom line,
No.
period.
The cameras sound like a really good idea.
Yeah, we need to bust them. We need to cost them $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 embarrassment on the front page. That's gonna work. It's not gonna work for us just go over there and pick it up. For that, we can go to the house and pick it up from their living room. Hey, put it on your front door.
What if for
Easier than
this,
taking it out of a 30-foot ditch.
what if for this budget year you allocate X number of cameras to be put out from now till September 30th? So when we start budget workshops, if we want to implement a position and equipment for area pickups, we can do that. But since we don't have money budgeted for more personnel or more equipment right now, the easiest way and possibly the most effective way would be the cameras.
Would we have to amend the budget to, from unencumbered funds to get us some cameras?
Mine's paid for.
I would imagine there's some surplus monies in the budget that won't be used that can be moved from line item to do that.
But we have to amend it to move from line item to line item?
Give them the line item.
Huh?
Yes.
And
Can
you
we,
said the
okay.
budget, the new budget comes out when?
You give
Our
them
fiscal
Walmart
year
for
runs
this,
October
that's
first.
$100.
Through
Oh, did Walmart
September
have
1st. We will
cameras?
start budget workshops probably the first part of
Well, it's
June.
not the Abbott Hunter, you know.
But if we spend money like this, and it just so happens to be someone that's been in the county 100 years, families, or they
It
got
doesn't
money-
matter. Are you above the law?
Wait, can I finish?
Uh-huh.
Let me finish what I'm saying. It doesn't matter who you are, it don't matter what race you are, it don't matter what family you come from, it don't matter who you're related to or whatever. They get charges put on them just like the next person.
That's
There's
right.
no
There's
favoritism.
no
But there
favoritism.
should be.
I understand, but it's not always like that. We know the justice system sucks sometimes. But I'm saying that if we're gonna push it, let's push it on everybody. It don't matter if it's my mama that does it.
It
You know what I
should be
mean?
equal.
It
Nobody's
should be
above the
equal.
law.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree.
No, of course, we're not.
If I was the one doing it, find me.
Exactly. If you did it, we bust you too.
Yep.
Right? Not that you would, but I'm just saying,
I
you know what I
know.
mean?
I'm just using me as an example.
Well, the next item would be deciding where you're gonna place the cameras, because we're not gonna place them at every creek crossing or anything like that.
Well, I
Jeff
think
knows
it's
where all the
wrong.
trash gets thrown out there. He's been
Well, I know
doing
you
this.
can't tell, but somebody has to be in charge of making that decision to put them up.
Don't you need to put up a couple signs that says, dumping and
No dumping,
if caught,
prosecuted.
prosecuted, $200 to $2,000 fine?
Tracy, I caught a gentleman here, on County Road 125. The two signs were in there, property under surveillance, no dumping. He was backed in between the two signs and dumping.
Yeah, I know, but what I meant by that is they know that they will be fined.
Yeah.
You put a number on there, 200 to 2,000. And make up it there,
Y'all wanna see,
Well,
stick it.
y'all wanna see trash going 125, it's bad.
I know it is up in there.
They're
I
doing it
think
right
that-
between the
I
signs.
think that Jeff would be the one to know exactly where to place the cameras, don't you?
Why don't you take my camera?
That's crazy. They get them from
We'll see every time it works.
I had my camera set out on the county road for about like just one guy.
But how, I mean, like, one
Do you
commissioner,
have a
one,
game
like,
camera?
Main
That's
camera
Sparks
was
should be
good, but I don't know, like,
Yeah.
you
a
won't
little,
have
maybe
like-
Sparks.
But it belongs to the car.
And then get other people that are interested in this.
Yeah.
Good ideas.
Ms. Sparks, Carl was kind of saying, like, you know, we've had the other committees do stuff or do whatever. You mentioned a litter committee. Would you be interested in being on a litter committee?
Sure.
Litter control committee?
You wanna put it out, or put it out?
Pardon?
You want to do it, Carl?
You wanna be the
I
person that
I
throws
think
it
that
out?
would be a
or
real
puts it
good
out?
way to do it, so we
I
have a lot of
never
ideas,
throw
we
anything
just
out,
need
so.
to put them down on
I think
paper.
that's the first.
Do you want to do an agenda item to form a litter committee?
Yes.
Of who? Of you, Ms. Sparks, we can find another.
Who else?
And Luana, you really got me thinking about these
Barbara,
cameras,
was it
but if
Carl?
you had
Yes,
two
ma'am.
facing each other, so if he tried to sneak up on this one's gonna get him, and if he tried to sneak up on this one, he's gonna get him. Luana, is that gonna work?
I'm like,
I assume it might if your batteries are good.
Unless there's two people.
Yeah, exactly.
Ms. Sparks, do you know anybody else that would be interested?
Depends on how high quality it is. I mean, the ones we have for deer hunting were around $200.
You're in trouble.
Would you be interested in asking Ralph and calling us, and letting us know? and
Probably
maybe
$70,
We could acknowledge it on the
something
agenda.
like that. But ours does nighttime
I'm looking
recording
at,
also. the
I'll
infrared.
figure out what date we're gonna have that meeting, because I need to talk to you anyway about that APOC stuff, about the grants. And we can do this all on the same day. So if you'll ask Ms. Sparks, if you can, you, Carl, and one other person, would that be enough, Carl?
Or what if you had one
I'm
from
sure
each
that I
precinct?
can probably,
Yeah,
not
I
right off the
think
top of my
that's-
head now, but I'm sure I can get a couple more people too.
We need representatives from all four precincts. That's very good.
And James said that, and then he said that'd be too big, but it's just up to y'all, whatever y'all wanna do.
But I mentioned to her, maybe, you, but, and then, just with the commissioners,
That
four,
just
but
be-
then four.
Right.
Well, I'm
Each
from
precinct, I don't know if that would be too
precinct
many.
4. I don't know if Ralph Alexander would be from precinct 4 or not. He's 4 also.
I can find somebody in my
You wanna
precinct.
find somebody, James, and you find somebody? Pete?
Yeah, if y'all would just kinda come up with a name from y'all's precinct, and then I'll come up and that'd be four, then.
Four and you, 5 y'all total?
Yeah.
Do they still have the neighborhood patroller just like this precinct?
Sure, we patrol all night long. No, I don't know.
They needed one.
You know, it
And,
might-
usually with your volunteers, it's, of course, a lot, everybody gets very enthused for a month or two,
And
and
then
then
it
sort of
wore out.
wore out. Yeah, I think that's what happened with this one, because they were very enthusiastic over there.
Yeah, they were.
Bob, like the code enforcement officer, like in Kennedy, isn't that part of what he does?
But trust me, if you were going to swimming pool from Tracy's bar ditch, it would take one truck just for the swimming pool.
Okay, but now, before we leave this, what was our other deal? I'm trying to do agenda
We might
items.
have to adopt an ordinance or something.
Well, you
So,
will.
so
You
we
will.
can find this.
There is a state law though too that you can work it on.
Well, maybe.
No dumping.
I think that only
Countywide
covers the
ordinance.
state highways, though, doesn't it?
No, I believe
It
it.
covers all.
If we don't have an
I'd
ordinance,
to go
we fall
and
back
look.
on
I'm
state law.
Sorry, I don't remember it that well.
We do.
So we don't need.
We're okay, I think. I mean, because if we don't have, because we can always go tighter than code, but we can't go looser than code. So
I
there's
think
always
we could-
code written that is, has a minimal of something in it.
So what do you think, Bob? Do you think we need to come up with some kind of?
Eventually, yes, but right now it's very deal
Okay, but the agenda item is gonna be to form the committee, right?
Right.
That we need to put that on there. That's.
And a
okay.
representative from
Each precinct.
Each precinct.
Yep. Can y'all have that to me probably maybe by, what's today? I'm gonna look at my calendar and we'll see when that meeting's gonna be. We'll see when we can do the special meeting for that other part. If y'all can get that to me, can y'all get that to me? Would that be okay?
Yeah, y'all come up with a name for person precinct.
Tracy, your job's done, Ms. Martin.
Yeah,
You two to help me out. And then Luana, are you gonna send me the amendment to move from line item for cameras? How
Well, I
many
can't
cameras
do
we
that
want?
till I know what cameras you're getting, what associated costs, et cetera. I think,
places are there?
I think the commissioner that's in charge should bring proposed camera prices and capabilities.
Well, you don't have to put them in.
You seem to know a lot about cameras. Did you want to be on this committee?
No, sir, I have plenty to do, thank you.
So do I, but you gotta pick your fights.
Okay, so anyway, where are we at with this, with the camera thing? I just need to get my agenda item straight.
We're gonna form the committee and review possible prices for equipment. Carl?
And a plan of action.
Review possible prices for
We're
equipment.
not only gonna need cameras, but we're gonna need a trash trailer. Looks to me like.
Okay, and
I wouldn't spend a lot of
then,
money
that's
on
one
that to
agenda
start
item,
with.
right?
Mhm.
Form
Those
the
are gonna
committee,
go.
okay. And then the second item gonna be to, move necessary funds from line items to line items? Or do we need to accept a proposal for the cameras, to accept one of them, or just move from line item to line?
I would think you just need to amend the budget because your prices of cameras aren't gonna be something, I mean, you can go to Academy and see the different prices, or Walmart, or wherever.
For camera costs, right? Amend
One
budget
in
for
my
camera
office
costs?
will give you.
And that's the only two items we would need on this next special agenda to be able to get this in play. And then are you wanting, you're saying to amend the budget for something else, Carl, I just did? Or was that-
Well, I'm just saying, you know, it looks to me like you're gonna pick up trash, you're gonna need a trash trailer. We can find an old truck to pull it, but you're gonna pick up a lot of stuff. A cage, you know.
You wanna start with this?
And then do the other
Let's start
budget.
with this, and then we'll figure out.
Because if we could solve the problem a little bit, or say 50%, we could always hire an independent contractor to pick up that already has a trash trailer, just to clean up the roads real quick.
And I'm not being, it's just hard when I sit down and write the agenda, I can't remember what my items are all the time.
So you'll let me know when this committee's gonna meet?
Yes, I have your number, and I'll call you and let you know. But, because it's gonna be here pretty quick, we're gonna have to do this because of the other things I was just talking about.
Okay. Just as long as it's not this week.
No, I have to have it ready by today, and that's not gonna happen.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a number?
It's out there. It's in my book, Carl. I'm sorry, I gotta write one. Okay. Number 6 is the reading of minutes. Just let me know when you're ready. Number 7 is to review and or correct Commissioners Court minutes for the month of February, which is the 14th and the 29th. I read them, I reviewed them, I didn't have any questions. Did anybody have any questions? I make the motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
That's on number 7?
Yes, sir.
What did you do on number 6?
Read them.
You read them?
I mean, they've been here to read for a while. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? No, motion carries 5-0. Number 8 is just an acknowledgement on record that the San Antonio Food Bank will be in Kennedy at the Kennedy Street Department site located at 201 School Street in Kennedy on March 19, 2012, and distribution will begin at 10:30 a.m. We were in Runge last time, we handed out vouchers while we were there, and that seemed to work really well, so we're gonna do that again. It saves everybody from coming to Karnes City, then going to Kennedy, we can just do it all at once and make it flow as easy as possible on everybody. Number 10 is acknowledgement of hiring Melissa Vargas for the Justice Court Clerk Precinct Number 1 for the salary budgeted for this fiscal year. I'm the author with Kathy Stewart, JP1. Number 13 was to open, discuss, award bid for time warrants for the EMS ambulance, and that's Luana. Oh, goodness, we'll be here for days over here.
Got one bid.
Yes, sir.
Is this in the budget, Luana?
Yes, it is.
Just checking.
It says my bid on the ambulance certificate of obligation is 3.97% interest payable semi-annually, and it's presented by Mr. Linhart, A.L. Linhart. We've opened it, and that's all the discussion I have on here from Mr. Linhart.
Do we know the amount?
It's 125 something.
She had it on here last agenda.
Mhm.
Do we need to make a motion to award the bid now? Is that all we do to do? Then I make a motion, we award the bid for time warrants for the EMS ambulance to Mr. Linhart
At 3.9.
at 3.9% interest payable semi-annually.
3.97?
Yes, sir.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposition, sir?
How many years?
5.
5 years?
Five? Yeah, that was on the agenda last time too. All that was on there when she advertised. What, is that it, Mr. B?
I'm sorry?
Is that it?
Well, I need to know the interest rate, the time, and the amount.
I think that was on the last deal when we put it out for advertisement, wasn't it?
Carol's looking in the minutes.
I can't remember when we put it out.
We haven't done any of the, in the years, this year, fiscal year, have we?
Time warrants? No.
Don't remember any.
This one in a meeting before.
Probably would have been maybe the February
Assuming
14th or
you're going
January
to ask,
32nd.
tell me to write them up, right?
Yes, sir. If we say please. Is it in these past minutes, did we see?
I haven't seen it in February. I don't have January.
I can get the information from you later.
Thank you.
Okay, so did we say all in favor, say aye?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? None. Motion carries 5-0. Number 17 is to discuss, approve, disapprove conveying a parcel of land out of what is known as the Conquista Road to adjacent landowner Elizabeth Moss by executing a limited warranty deed, and that's Bob.
Yeah.
Y'all look at this bill.
We should have it in your packet also.
It is.
I don't know. I don't know if there's
Let me see.
any opposition to, has this road not been closed?
It's just been closed.
It's been closed?
It's
Okay,
just-
then it'll just be a matter of determining who it goes to and,
And your person paid.
I'm sorry? Any reason to not do this?
Looking just for a motion.
Yeah.
I think it's all we need, yeah.
And discussed it with Ms. Moss, and I make a motion that we convey this parcel of land, what used to be Conquista Road, adjacent to Elizabeth Moss property, by executing a limited warranty deed.
I'll second it.
And give the, the judge, the authority to sign it.
And authorize the judge to sign.
Hang on, I got to change.
Who seconded it? Oh, we're waiting on the tape.
There's no tape, sorry. Okay, you're back on the record.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposition, motion carries 5-0. Number 18 on the agenda is to discuss, approve, disapprove conveying a parcel of land out of what is known as the George Voss Survey, a portion of the old Gillette Road, to landowner Mr. Yonta by executing a limited warranty deed. That's Bob, and that's the short one in your package.
Yeah, it's one of, Mr. Yonda is here. He is certainly more familiar with the situation. It has to do with moving of a county road that happened many years ago. Let Mr. Yonda tell you what the situation is.
Actually, this happened 70 years ago. And the old road was called the old Riddleville Road before Gillette was named his current name. The Riddleville Road went through a floodplain of the Eclato Creek and of the Pridgeon Hollow, which drained the several ranches. As long as it was a dry period, the road was usable, passable. My father came to look at this property that had the Riddleville Road running beside it, and he went and talked to the adjacent landowner. He bought 20 acres of land, went to the county. I don't know if you talked to the county judge or commissioner's court, offered to move the road from the floodplain up to the high side. And so we thought this was all taken care of until recently we found out that, that the county still owns part of the land. And my father approached whoever was the powers that be at that time, and with a good faith offer, we're going to move this road that's a problem to a safe side, which it is. It's on the high part now. And Jeffrey Vatrick is, he's in charge of maintaining that road. But the old road, the old Riddleville Road, has been fenced off and closed for 7 years. We just didn't realize that we didn't have ownership of that. And so what we're asking for is that
1.45 acres.
It's not a big thing. It's 1.45 acres, but we just, it's a piece of ground that is 700 yards long, 36 feet wide, in the middle of my property is what it amounts to. And we never knew that it was an issue. None of the warranty deeds show up that there's a problem with it. And so it came to bear, and it's like, wow, I've got to see what we can do about it. And I hope that you would go ahead and help clarify the error that was done a long time ago.
Well, the county has no use for this land whatsoever. It's just sitting out there in the middle of this field.
It sounds like just a formality that should
Yeah,
have
it's
a long
just,
time ago.
and I have the description of the 1.45 acres. So a suggestion would be that, recommendation would be that it's conveyed back from whence it came, which is Mr. Yonda's property now. What's your dad's property?
Yeah, my dad's
Dad's property,
No.
it's not yours.
I make a motion to approve conveying a parcel of land out of what is known as the George Voss Survey, portion of the old Gillette Road, landowner Mr. Yonta by executing a limited warranty deed and allowing the county judge to execute.
No, yes.
Sign.
Empowering.
Empowering county judge to sign.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No opposition, motion carries 5-0.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Yonta.
Thank you, Court. Thank you.
Number 29, I didn't skip anything, did I? Number 29, report of fees, fines, and money collected by the following departments: county clerk, district clerk, county attorney, JP's, juvenile department, special projects. Carol left hers up here. I have yours. You want to read yours?
No, go ahead. I can, if you want me to.
Mr. B, you have, for the month of February, for hot checks, he collected $5,315.37. Year-to-date, that brings to $9,458.30. Court costs were $1,664.93. Year-to-date, court costs were $3,008.23. And the total money collected by the county's attorney's office 1/1/12 to 2/29/12 was $24,466. And it's 50-something cents. I can't see it. We cut a number off. And year-to-date, she's about $4,000 ahead, because last year she about 45. She collected $8,031.91.
You remember I had asked in my budget request that I be allowed to have a warrant officer, and I have Tito Badari. Those of you know Tito Badari, he's Jim. We give him a warrant, and I don't see him till he come back here dragging him in the head.
Tito will come get you.
He will.
And the next one's Carol's, and she had the grand total for the February 2012 was $80,515 with less checks dispersed of $11,997.70. Her total collections for the month were $68,517.30. And I don't see anybody else here. So at budget time, when they tell us to look at the reports, remember we don't do that. Number 30, report from Road and Bridge. Jeff, I don't even think we need that at this point in time, do we?
I got a few places that didn't mention, and when we were talking, y'all know we were working on County Road 326. We spent quite a bit of money on that road. A problem that happened in the Christmas holidays, we finally did get that pipe fixed on Patrick County Road, which is on 160. We got that repaired. We tied the 2 pieces of concrete on that's separated. We got that road repaired. Mr. Schindel worked with a gentleman yesterday and got me some water in the Rungy area we're gonna be able to get from a gentleman. That's not gonna cost us anything. I negotiated a deal with the 33 ranch to receive water to put on roads and to help us, we can use all the water we want. Gentleman said as long as we're around that he's gonna let us have the water. That's a big help because we're right there in a lot of places. The Rungy area is gonna help us with water. But just to kind of show you all on County Road 160 on that pipe repair, we just got done with it here a couple of weeks ago. Kind of give you all an idea how far behind we're with everything and the way everything is running right now. So we're working down our list, but it's taking a lot of time, gentlemen. That's about it.
Thanks, Jeff. Alana?
Have my report in your packet. I verified Vi's before she submitted it, and our balances are the same with that notation that she made about her error in receiving. We did pay off the Connolly land unit in February. And the last page is items of interest that shows you the total county funds available as of February 29th at $11,550,104.76. Of those funds invested as of February 29th was $9,307,558.31. So as of February 29th, non-invested funds was a little over $2.25 million. We had five different CDs that matured in February, and 1 CD was acquired during February. Then we have also acquired one the beginning of March on the 7th. So basically, all funds are invested through March 5th. What's come in since then, of course, is not invested. I do want to point out to y'all another item you had in your packet. With all this discussion with Road and Bridge and materials, our original budget out of all 3 areas that we can have budgets for Road and Bridge was $959,671 for materials. That's from Road and Bridge Special, and lateral roads. Expended through today's bill cycle, we have spent $756,313.41 in materials and hauling. So the funds remaining out of all our budgeted sources for materials is $203,357.59.
Is that counting this pay period like she's paying today?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, those are taken out. And just as another item, on number 11, when we discussed the payment to MJ Boyle on the courthouse restoration, I asked if y'all wanted to do a hand check or wait till the next bill cycle. Y'all said hand check, but I will not be able to issue that payment until next Tuesday when I receive the original invoice with signatures from the architect and the contractor.
Gotcha. The next one's Carl.
Okay, Mary Ann Sines with TAC wants to visit with all the department heads on getting job descriptions and safety manuals and doing physicals and drug testing on I don't say all employees, but on new employees. And she will be here in May or June. And she's gonna let everybody know when we're gonna be.
Pete, you're next. I'm sorry, Paul, are you done?
Okay, on the annex, Kruger's working there in the courtroom, putting in the judge's bench. We got the jury stand in, put the seats on it. Judge Saxon said we needed a divider between the jury and part of the courtroom. So I had Kruger price a T wall, this high, one like that in front of the jury bench and sticking out over and halfway across the courtroom. They came up with $4,400. I told them that's ridiculous. And I told Judge Saxon, she said, well, I guess we don't need it, so we're still building.
Doesn't that Tim Johnson or whatever, doesn't he does?
Okay, originally he gave me a price more than Kruger's price on the jury bench and the judge's stand. His price was higher. So maybe he could, I'll have to see. Anyway, we're still trying to get through it. Still trying to get rid of
James?
Trash compactor busted over there. I called the maintenance to see if they could come service it or fix it. It's two different locations I called. They said they would go ahead and call me back. They called me back. Called back like 3 times. They called me back. So we're just waiting on that one. It's still busted. So either if we can fix it, we're gonna fix it. If not, we're gonna have to purchase another one. I asked them more or less to give me a ballpark of what it would cost. They said they didn't know.
It's on that compactor thing.
So that's on the compactor, trash compactor, we put all the balers on. Yeah, it's already real old and everything, but that's all I got to say, because they haven't called me back.
James?
That thing's really not a compactor. You throw it in that hopper and it just kind of pushes it in there, but it doesn't actually
Compress it,
squish it,
just
yeah.
compress it or whatever. Yeah, I mean, I asked them, that way I could have something to tell you how much more or less it would be, and they said they have no idea. That one's like so old, we've had it so long.
So.
Yeah, I had to ask Jeff too. I called Jeff to see if he remembered. He said it was there before. He was there too, so he didn't know. I don't know either.
And I know you and I talked about this on the phone, but Jesse calls all the time wanting to burn, well, you know that. And so he was upset about not being able to burn. And just for clarification for everybody, the reason that we're not being able to burn is, I guess, numerous reasons. James is trying to separate that. Y'all see the big Beaver's piles out there? But that property is in the city limits. It's not county property. And one time when we had the burn ban on, we burned out there. So we reported to TCEQ. And TCEQ came, in all these years, TCEQ thought that was county property. Well, and they said, well, if you're not allowing other people to burn, you can't be burning out here unless you get a permit that day to burn from us. I said, well, I thought we had to get it from the city. And they said, well, we were told that it was county property. I said, well, Mr. Timrack and I have been talking, and it appears that it's city property. When we were reported, somebody had sent all those deeds in, and that's why Don sent them to me. Because the same person that reported us sent all that in. So that's why we're not burning. I'm sorry, but it's city property, so we can't just go get the TCEQ permit anymore to burn. We have to separate all this stuff. Then James has to go to the city to get a permit to burn, and we can't be under a burn ban just because of one bad incident. Somebody reported all that in one day. And so life is not, you can't just burn out there like we used to. So I know we get bombed a lot about, well, if y'all just burn that off, it would be gone. Well, we'd love to set a fire. But it's not that easy anymore. Tracy? You didn't bring any money?
I've already given it away. No, we together, I guess a little over 30,000.
Next, number 31, Pete said he made a motion to adjourn, James said he seconded it, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition, motion carries.
record.
Appreciate it.
Catch you later. Well, one went till